Here's a look ahead.
Why can't you just leave Ridge in the past and make room for some new joy?
Who is your friend?
Babe, come on out.
Remy?
I've put you through a lot. What do you say we put our family back together?
The Bold and the Beautiful, B&B, spoilers hint that Liam Spencer, Scott Clifton, and Hope Logan's Annika Noel wedding could send Thomas Forrester, Matthew Atkinson, over the edge. Will a dangerous mental health setback play out for Thomas as Hope and Liam prepare to tie the knot? Thomas and Paris Buckingham, Diamond White, called off their engagement, which obviously left him pretty distraught. Paris was supposed to be Thomas's path forward after Hope couldn't commit to marriage, but that obviously didn't pan out. Thomas admitted to Ridge Forrester, Torsten K., that he was feeling lost both personally and professionally. In addition to his Paris split, Thomas isn't satisfied creatively without a project to sink his teeth into. It may sting when Thomas gets updates on the new direction that revived hope for the future is headed in. Thomas may long for the days when he was the designer bringing Hope's vision to life. Now Deke Sharp, Harrison Cohn, and the others on Hope's team are getting the job done instead. Thomas may feel like it's been one blow after another since he lost Paris, watched Ridge Forrester, Torsten K., break Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig, Hart, and isn't part of HFTF anymore. However, the worst blow may come in the form of Hope and Liam's upcoming wedding. It looks like Hope will accept Liam's engagement ring and agree to become his wife once again. B&B fans will recall how hesitant Hope was when it came to accepting Thomas's own marriage proposal. Despite Thomas's repeated attempts to get Hope on board, she just couldn't make that level of commitment to him. Hope wore Thomas's ring on a chain that she placed on her neck, which says a lot about the limbo they were stuck in. After Hope puts Liam's ring on her finger and starts planning their nuptials, it could push Thomas right over the edge. This could pave the way for Thomas to return and go off the rails, so stay tuned to see whether he might crash the ceremony or cause some other chaos. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say Hope and Liam's wedding news could be tough on Thomas, so we'll keep you posted on his reaction. The glittering champagne flutes have been drained, the rice has been thrown, and the vows have been spoken. In a ceremony that was equal parts fairy tale and fraught with tension, Hope Logan and Liam Spencer are finally, officially, man and wife once more. For the star-crossed lovers, it's the culmination of a decade-long journey of heartbreak, betrayal, and unwavering connection. For the viewers at home, it was a moment of either triumphant satisfaction or profound frustration, depending on which side of the Lope versus Thope divide they stand. But for one man watching from the shadows, the sight of Hope in her wedding dress, pledging her life to another, wasn't just a painful moment, it was a cataclysm. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers indicate that this wedding may be the very event that sends the perpetually troubled Thomas Forrester spiraling over an edge from which there may be no return. This isn't just another bump in the road for Thomas, it's the demolition of the entire highway he believed was leading him to his destiny. To understand the depth of the coming storm, we must first look at the fragile piece that preceded it: the illusion of a new Thomas. For months, Thomas has been the model of redemption. He's been sober, focused, a devoted father to Douglas, and a brilliant, professional creative force at Forrester Creations. He championed hope for the future with a fervor that bordered on religious devotion, but he kept his personal feelings in check. Or so it seemed. This new Thomas wasn't just an act for the benefit of others, he genuinely believed it himself. He had transformed his obsession into a quiet, steadfast conviction that he and Hope were meant to be. This belief was meticulously constructed, brick by emotional brick. Every shared glance over a design sketch, every collaborative success for the line, every moment of kindness Hope showed him was filed away in his mind as evidence of their unspoken bond. He saw himself as her true partner, the man who understood her professionally and emotionally in a way the waffling Liam never could. In Thomas's mind, he was the stable harbor, and Liam was the perpetual storm. It was only a matter of time before Hope would see it, too. Liam's proposal and Hope's acceptance were the first major cracks in this carefully constructed reality. But Thomas, a master of cognitive dissonance, found ways to patch them. She's confused, he might have told himself. She's falling back on what's familiar. She's scared of the intensity of what we have. He held on to a sliver of hope, a belief that at the 11th hour, she would see the light and choose him. The wedding itself was the sledgehammer that shattered that illusion into a million unrecognizable pieces. The wedding, a public execution of hope. Imagine the scene from Thomas's perspective. He likely attended because to not be there would be to admit defeat. He stands stiffly in a suit, a forced smile plastered on his face, as he watches the woman he loves walk down the aisle. But she isn't walking toward him. She's walking toward Liam. Every word of the ceremony is a dagger. When she says, "I do," it's not just a vow to Liam, it's a renouncement of Thomas. It's a public declaration that his entire narrative, the months of transformation, the belief in their destined future, was a fantasy. The applause that rings out is a celebration of his utter and complete defeat. The bold and the beautiful spoilers suggest that Thomas's demeanor during the reception is chillingly calm. He toasts the happy couple with a steady hand, his words dripping with a double meaning only he can fully comprehend. He hugs Hope, and in that moment, it's not a goodbye to a friend, but the closing of a chapter he never wanted to end. He sees the finality in her eyes. There is no lingering doubt, no secret sorrow. She is happy. She is Mrs. Liam Spencer. And in that moment, something inside Thomas Forrester breaks. The spiral begins, from heartbreak to harboring resentment. The days following the wedding will be critical. Initially, Thomas may retreat into a deep, silent depression. He'll skip work, ignore calls, and shut out even his own family. Steffi, ever his protector, will grow worried, but her concerns will be met with a hollow shell of a man. This numbness, however, is merely the calm before the storm. As the reality sets in, the grief will curdle into something far more dangerous, a profound and righteous resentment. Thomas didn't just lose a woman he wanted. In his mind, he was robbed. Liam, who has hurt Hope more times than anyone can count, was once again handed a prize he doesn't deserve. Hope, the woman he put on a pedestal, has revealed herself to be a fool, blind to the devotion right in front of her. This resentment is the fertile ground where Thomas's old demons will once again take root. The voice in his head, the one that justified the mannequin, the kidnapping of Beth, and a dozen other manipulations, will return with a vengeance. It will whisper a new, terrifying narrative. She didn't choose him because she loves him more. She chose him because he was the easier, safer choice. She's not really happy. She's trapped. She needs to be freed. The targets, Douglas and Hope for the future. So, where will this derailed train go? The bold and the beautiful spoilers point to two primary targets for Thomas's unraveling: his son, Douglas, and the fashion line that has been the tangible symbol of his connection to Hope. The bold and the beautiful, BNB, spoilers reveal that we got the answer to why Hope Logan, Annika Noel, Liam Spencer, Scott Clifton, and Steffi Forrester's Jacqueline McInnes Wood love triangle is officially over, at least for now. Steffi and Hope spent many years fighting over Liam, who waffled between them more times than we can count. It helped when John Finnegan, Tanner Novlin, was brought on as a love interest for Steffi, but there have still been moments where BNB toyed with fans and played up Liam's deep connection to her. Fortunately, it seems like the show's shutting the door on any sort of romantic vibe between Steffi and Liam. Although Liam and Steffi will always be linked as Kelly Spencer's, Sophia Parra's, parents, their bond will hopefully remain platonic now that Liam's going all in on Hope. Daytime Confidential recently spoke to Scott Clifton on the red carpet at the Daytime Emmys, so that brought some questions about Liam and Hope's imminent reunion. Obviously, you can tell that they're heading in that direction. They're finding their way back to each other. And I really hope, and I think I even believe that it'll stick this time, at least for some non-trivial amount of time, Clifton said. Of course, you can never say never on a soap, but there clearly aren't any plans to revisit the Hope, Liam, and Steffi love triangle anytime soon. It's great news that even Clifton believes Liam and Hope are really going to make it work this time around. Clifton talked about the journey that both characters have been on, as well as the epiphanies, lessons, and priority shifts they've faced. Hope and Liam have grown a lot since the last time they were together, so let's hope they've evolved enough to give each other what they need in this relationship. That fake tumor crisis really shook Liam and Hope up, so they've learned they can't take anything for granted, especially when it comes to their family with Beth Spencer, Jordan Gracie. The bold and the beautiful spoilers say it's almost time to put that family back together and grant Beth her wish of having reunited parents, so we'll bring you updates on what's in store for Hope and Liam. Douglas as a pawn. Thomas has always been a possessive father, but his love for Douglas has been one of his few genuine anchors. Now, that anchor could become a weapon. Seeing Douglas interact with a newly formed Lope family unit will be torture. The sight of Liam acting as a stepfather figure, of Douglas calling their house home, will ignite a possessive fury in Thomas. He could suddenly decide that Liam is an unstable influence, or that Hope's marriage makes her an unfit guardian in his twisted logic. He might threaten to revoke the custody agreement, using their son as the ultimate leverage to get Hope's attention and inflict the same pain he is feeling. A bitter, drawn-out custody battle would not only tear Douglas apart, but would also be a direct and brutal attack on Hope's heart, guaranteed to pull her away from her marital bliss and force her to engage with Thomas constantly. Sabotaging the dream. Hope for the future has been Hope's life's work, and Thomas has been its architect. It is the last remaining thread that binds them. In his distorted state, he could reason that if he can have hope, then he will destroy the thing she loves most, her professional legacy. This could start subtly. A design goes missing. A shipment is mysteriously delayed. Fabric is ordered in the wrong color. The chaos would be initially attributed to bad luck, but Hope, with her history with Thomas, would grow suspicious. It could escalate to Thomas deliberately leaking designs to a competitor, like Sheila's new venture or even Zenith, utterly crippling the line. His goal? To prove that without him, Hope is nothing. That her success is inextricably linked to his presence. If he can't be her partner in life, he will ensure he remains the central, inescapable figure in her professional life, even if it's as an antagonist. A new rivalry and a rekindled feud. Thomas's breakdown won't happen in a vacuum. It will supercharge the existing dynamics on the canvas, creating explosive new conflicts. Liam versus Thomas, the final war. The fragile truce between Liam and Thomas will be incinerated. Liam, now secure in his marriage, will shift from wary observation to full-blown protector mode. He will see Thomas's escalating behavior for what it is and will be determined to stop him. This won't be a battle of waffling versus obsession. It will be a primal fight for a family. Liam will be fighting for his wife and stepson, and he will be more focused and determined than ever. The physical and verbal confrontations between these two are guaranteed to be some of the most intense the show has seen. Brooke's worst fears realized. For Brooke Logan, this wedding was supposed to be the end of her nightmare. Instead, it's the beginning. Her maternal instincts will be on high alert, and she will be the first to sound the alarm about Thomas's downward spiral. Her famous "I told you so" will be laced not with smugness, but with genuine terror. Her feud with Ridge will ignite once more as she demands he control his son, while Ridge, torn between his wife and his firstborn, will likely fall back on his pattern of making excuses for Thomas, blinded by a father's hope for his redemption. This fundamental disagreement over Thomas could threaten the very foundation of their marriage. The specter of the past. How far will he fall? The most terrifying question is, how far will Thomas go this time? The show's writers have a rich history to draw from. Will we see a return to the gaslighting and psychological manipulation of the Hope for the Future mannequin era? Will he attempt to isolate Hope, perhaps by engineering a situation that makes it look like she's relapsing into feelings for him, causing a rift with Liam? Or could it be something even darker? The precedent of him keeping Emma's death a secret and his indirect role in it looms large. In a state of complete psychological break, could Thomas become physically dangerous? Not necessarily to Hope. He still sees her as his idol, but to anyone he perceives as standing in his way, most notably Liam. A tragic accident, a framed crime, or a violent confrontation are all within the realm of possibility for a character pushed to his absolute limit. A point of no return? This wedding is a definitive endpoint. There is no more will they won't they with Hope and Liam.
They did.
For Thomas, this concrete finality is the one thing his fragile psyche cannot process. His entire worldview, built around the idea of Hope as his destined partner, has been proven false. For a man with his history of mental health struggles and obsessive tendencies, this isn't a setback, it's an existential crisis. The Bold and the Beautiful is poised to take Thomas on his darkest journey yet. This isn't about winning Hope back anymore. That door is closed, locked, and the key has been thrown away. This is about vengeance, about pain, and about making sure that if he can't be a part of Hope's story, then he will become the villain that defines it. The wedding bells have stopped ringing for Liam and Hope, but for Thomas Forrester, they have told the beginning of a terrifying new chapter. The man who fought so hard for redemption is gone, and in his place stands a heartbroken, resentful, and dangerously unhinged individual. The real drama is no longer about who Hope will choose. It's about what the man she rejected is now capable of doing. Hold on to your seats, Forrester.